Update 2, my ex-wife's new husband made fun of me in front of his friends because I didn't have a job. They didn't know I owned the company they all worked for, until I fired them. What happened next was funny. The life she thought she had secured crumbled beneath her. At 8:45 a.m., I took another sip of my coffee. Just another Monday morning. They had no idea that by 9 a.m., their world would be over, and I would be there to watch it all burn. I believe the name of the accounting woman, Emma, was whispered to her colleague. She informed them that there was a problem with Melissa. One of the IT staff muttered to himself that Angela was finally being fired. As we arrived at the main entrance, Tom abruptly stopped moving and turned to face me, his fists clenched. I arched an eyebrow. "You set this up," he hissed in a low, angry voice. "This isn't over," Melissa snapped as she whirled around, pointing a manicured finger at me. I grinned, slipping my hands into my pockets. "Melissa, you didn't realize that everything you owned was originally mine." Angela shook her head, sighed in shock, then let out a bitter laugh. "Breaking you. You allowed it to happen while we were laughing at you during those dinner parties. Would you have trusted me if I had told you the truth?" In silence, I shrugged. They were all too blinded by their own conceit to see the answer, which was no. Too inebriated by their delusion of dominance to ever entertain the idea that Tom was merely the owner of the man they despised. I tilted my head, thinking. "You just made the biggest mistake of your life," Tom said as he stepped closer, his mouth tense. "I have contacts with investors. You can't just destroy us and get away with it." "Who do you mean?" I asked, abruptly cutting him off. "The investors who recently pulled out of your business this morning. Or the legal team that just discovered your financial documents were marked for fraud." His expression darkened, but I wasn't done yet. I took a composed step forward. "Are you talking about Sophia?" I asked, lowering my voice. He stiffened, his eyes flashing with something unreadable. "She will adore telling you why she left, the man who built everything she ever desired, only to get his whole body tattooed in regret." He had no response. He realized I was right. Security unlocked the doors. As they swung open, Tom gave me one final glare, his face contorted with resentment. "This isn't over," he repeated, venom dripping from his voice. I grinned. "Yes, it is." And then, they were gone. As soon as the doors closed, hushed whispers filled the room. My right-hand executive, Sarah, approached me with her TBL in hand. "It was dramatic," she remarked, glancing at the door. I grinned. They were expecting it. She nodded, reviewing her notes. "Legal has completed their terminations. Their offices have been emptied, their access and security erased. Melissa tried to contact a few workers. But Greg's company numbers were disabled. Scott attempted to reach out to rivals, but she touched her screen. Non-compete agreements make that impossible." I nodded. They weren't merely unemployed, they had no power. After today, the business would contact them. But they were blacklisted due to the financial and legal documents I had in my arsenal. Tom was going to enter a nightmare when he got home. By 11:30 a.m., Sophia had most likely heard the news. I glanced toward the office, knowing she would be calling soon. For years, I had allowed them to think I was merely Sophia's disgraced ex-husband. Today, they recognized me for who I truly was. I turned to the staff. "For those of you who were curious," I began in a calm yet assertive tone, "Summit Innovations isn't going anywhere. Today marks the start of a new era." The room was silent. "You have all worked hard under leadership that prioritized relationships over skill, manipulation over merit. That ends today." People looked at each other, some nodding, others still in shock. I could feel their relief. Greg, Melissa, Angela, and Scott had crushed innovation, suppressed talent, and used their positions to strangle progress. Their empire was in ruins. I took a deep breath. I built this company from the ground up. And going forward, I'm going to run it the way it was always meant to be. A moment of silence passed, then, genuine applause. Neither forced nor polite, but real. I nodded once, then turned back to Sarah. "Send an email to the entire organization. Everyone needs to know, the restructuring starts today." She smiled. For the first time in years, I stood at the doors where Tom and his so-called empire had crumbled in shame. A sense of calm washed over me, something I hadn't experienced in a long time. The past was finally behind me. It took longer than anticipated, but I had control over the future. By 1:30 p.m., my phone rang. "Sophia." I let it ring twice before picking up. A moment of silence passed before her voice arrived, clipped and furious. "What the hell did you do?" Leaning back in my chair, I gazed out at the skyline. I guess you've heard the news, I said smoothly. Tom just arrived, she spat. Melissa is furious that you fired him and half of his executive team. Angela contacted me in tears, threatening lawsuits. What did you do? I grinned, imagining Tom pacing angrily in her house, Melissa spinning in a panic, Angela frantically looking for a way out. She let out a sharp breath, trying to control her anger. This is where our story comes to end. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, share, and follow. Thanks to all for your support.